So, we had this under control before the State Department walked in. We even had Cam Air working on all of the negotiations with the Taliban to get the plane off the ground. Now Uncle Sam is here. Full recognition that a terrorist organization is the official government of Afghanistan. So is the part of the negotiation, this bribe, is that keeping flights on the ground? Imagine what officially recognizing the Taliban would do. It would open an actual partnership with terrorists. You won't hear it called cash for hostages. It'll be spun as humanitarian aid. And if you don't think that'll happen, read the headlines. It already is. Think of Biden's Department of Defense. They never work with terrorists? It's already being considered. But not the old Taliban, right? No. They're working with new moderates now. Remember when the media carried water for the Obama administration over the moderates in Iran? Check out the latest media coverage on the Taliban. Can the West make the Taliban moderate? No! Sweeping conquests test U.S. hopes of a more moderate Taliban. Check this one out from the Washington Post. Are we witnessing the emergence of a new, friendlier Taliban? Yes, to some extent. The new Taliban regime will probably be more moderate than the last. This weekend, they took the brain out of a female police officer in front of her kid out with a screwdriver. But what would you expect? This is the same media that seriously looked at Obama's top national security advisors in the eye and believed them when they said, Iran's now moderate. The Washington Post wrote that crap about a friendlier Taliban. Just 5 years ago, they wrote this piece admitting Ben Rhodes was out and out lying to them, and they bought it. You want to see what we can expect from a new and improved moderate and friendly Taliban 2.0? Well, this is the triumphant return of Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda security chief to his native province in Afghanistan. They're carrying on and preparing to party just like it was 2001. Is the stage being set for something worse than 9/11? Again, I ask, what should we expect from the Biden administration, which is nearly a carbon copy of Obama's? Afghanistan is just the tip of a much larger iceberg. Let's go back to the lies of Iranian moderates. The Taliban are effectively holding American citizens as hostages. How did the Obama administration handle something similar with Iran? Oh, yeah, that's right. They put $400 million in unmarked bills. They suspiciously arrived on the tarmac in Iran shortly before 4 detained Americans were released. And what were the ramifications of Obama's and now Biden's goons spooning with the Iranians? Iran swept across the Middle East. The IRGC was on Israel's doorstep. Gee, I wonder how those same officials are handling Iran now. Well, they're restarting their deals with Iran and rapidly expanding their team despite warnings from Israel. Now the question is, how much more dangerous will the terrorists be dealing with Biden in Afghanistan than the terrorist he's dealing with in Iran? Will the next 9/11 be delivered from Iranian-sponsored Hezbollah or, Taliban-sponsored al-Qaeda? Or, it might be one or both, or maybe someplace entirely different. Biden and his goons are merely copying what they did back in 2011 when Obama botched the Iraq withdrawal. ISIS swept across the Middle East, resulting in terror attacks all over the world, including here at home. And as everything spiraled out of control, military officials at CENTCOM doctored the intelligence to make everything appear as if Obama's strategy was working. Boy, that sounds familiar. Kind of sounds a little or exactly like Biden's phone call with the Afghan president telling him to lie so that everything looks all cute and rosy for his political objectives. Any guesses on who the CENTCOM commander was under Obama that doctored that intelligence? Yeah, our current Secretary of Defense, General Lloyd Austin. This is what these people do. They screw up, they lie, they rinse and repeat. But their screw-ups are getting to be disturbing. You can't screw this up that many times and still get away with it unless it's not a screw-up. And now they're planning to do what they did in Afghanistan in Iraq. Will they botch Iraq again as they did back in 2011? So now the new question is, will Biden's team open us up to the next 9/11 from ISIS in Iraq? or Iran's Hezbollah or al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. And that's a whole block. You sweep the Middle East. Their track record is catastrophic. And it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that the people who abandoned Americans in Benghazi will abandon them in Afghanistan. It shouldn't have been a shock to people that voted for Biden that the same people that said this about the Muslim Brotherhood,
a very heterogeneous group, largely secular, which has eschewed violence and has decried,
the Muslim Brotherhood invented modern-day Islamic terror. Now Biden's people are saying the same people playing footsie with the moderates in Iran and in Afghanistan. We are not this stupid, people. As far as terror threats go, the Biden administration is looking at a great reset before 2001. But now, rather than just al-Qaeda, the threat is on multiple fronts. The next 9/11 is now closer than we ever thought possible. I'll explain in a minute.